Hey everybody, this is Frilioth and welcome to another Minecraft tutorial. Right, in this series of videos I'm going to be showing you how to build the Iron Alpha. Now for those of you that aren't familiar with the Iron Alpha is a 60 village resettable iron farm that doesn't have to be built in the spawn chunks. It works in 1.13 and it also works on Spigot servers, which makes it pretty fantastic if you ask me. I'll put a list of everything you need to build this on screen now, so pause the video if you need to. Now those figures are a very good rough estimate of the blocks, of the quantities of blocks and items you're going to need to build the Iron Alpha. I haven't been around and counted everything one at a time because that would just take forever, so I've used a function on World Edit that tells me the number of blocks that's in a specific area. So that's what I've used. I'm hoping it's accurate. It's certainly going to be better than me guessing. So if you're short by a couple of repeaters or over by a few blocks, please don't hold it against me. I haven't counted every single block in the build. Now there are lots of do's and don'ts when it comes to building this thing. Far too many for me to start listing now, otherwise the video is the video is already going to be very long, but if I stand here telling you what you can and you can't do, it's going to be twice as long. So I'll give you a couple of very key points at the beginning of the video, but the rest of the do's and the don'ts will be listed in the description. Now I urge you strongly to go and check out the description, because if I forget to tell you to do something in the video, then I'll probably have put it in the description. Now to start with, the main don't is do not build this within 120 blocks of another valid door. Villager breeder, iron farm, naturally spawning village. In fairness, don't build it within 120 blocks of any wooden door, because if the wooden door becomes valid at any stage, then it could potentially break your farm. So, although there are a few exceptions, I think it's probably safe to say do not build this within 120 blocks of any other wooden door. Next, make sure you know which way north is. This has to be built this way round. It has to be built so the first village is created up there. Okay, you can't create it up there and work backwards. It just will not work. For reasons I really can't go into. It's just far too complicated to try to explain it now. But you need, just take it from me, you need to build this way round. You need to know which way north is. And thirdly, this doesn't have to be built in a spawn chunk or in the spawn chunks. Obviously it's bigger than one chunk. But if you do want to build it in the spawn chunks, there are several advantages. The most obvious one being that it will always stay loaded. So you'll only have to start it once, like we have done on the AlphaCraft server. You start it once and then you won't have to turn it off unless you run out of storage, or there's another reason. However, if you do build it in the spawn chunks, make sure that all of it is in the spawn chunks. Don't be building it right on the edge. If the spawn chunks finish here, if the spawn chunks are over there and they finish here, all of this will unload. And obviously if it unloads, when it loads again, all of these doors will join together to make one massive village, which is why the Iron Titan stopped working, or one of the reasons the Titan stopped working, because when you walked, unless you built it all in the spawn chunks, the minute you left the chunks and they unloaded and loaded again, all the villages would merge together. So if you are going to build it in the spawn chunks, make sure all of it is in the spawn chunks. So now I've told you that, we can start building, but again I urge you to look at the description. Please don't be putting comments below like, how far away do you have to build it from a village? Or can I build this near my base if it's got doors in it? Or will another villager breeder close by affect the iron farm? All of that information will be in the description, or I'll have already told you, or I will have gone over it a million times in the video. Now this video is going to be really long. I know the introduction is quite a long one, but the video itself is split into several videos, or the tutorial itself is going to be split into several videos, and each one of them is very long. And I make no apologies for that because this is really complicated. And if any one of these doors is misplaced, or any one of those doors is not at the right height, or some of this redstone is out of place, then it won't work, and it will be almost impossible for you to troubleshoot and find out why. And I'm just not going to be able to reply to every single comment like I've tried to do in the past when somebody says that this doesn't work. I'm just not going to be able to do it. So please follow the tutorial as best you can. I will try and answer your questions, I always do. Okay, before we start building this bad boy, I just want to go over a couple of points again that I've already made, but they are imperative that you follow them. If you don't take these into consideration when you're building it, the farm just won't work and you'll have wasted lots and lots of time. Firstly, you need to know which way north is. You can do that by pressing F3, checking the top left-hand corner of the screen. It says we are facing north. That's why I've put a big N up there. Now, you don't have to put a big N. If you're building this in survival, you've probably got your base or a biome or a mountain or something telling you which way you're looking, or you could always build a big tower and put an N on it. But that's not, it's not part of the build. It's just there so I know which way north is, because in the void, there's nothing to tell me. Secondly, you need to make sure you build this at least 120 blocks away from any other valid door. So any other village breeder, any other iron farm if you've got one, although in fairness you probably won't need one once you've built this, any other naturally spawning village. Because of how the villages are created, the villages are created at the top, and the first village is created with a radius of 32 blocks. But as the villager falls down the tower, when he gets down to the bottom, he'll go around the track and then he'll go up to the top on the other side. By then, all of the doors down the west column and the doors at the top of the east column will all be part of the village, and it will be a massive village which will have a radius of about 84 blocks. So you can't build anything within 32 blocks of the radius of that village, which is about 116 blocks. So if we call it 120, then that gives you a little bit of room just to be on the safe side. So as I say, don't build it within 120 blocks of any other valid door. So to start with, once you've got the center of the farm, this is going to be the dead center, and it can be at pretty much any Y level. Try to keep it below Y level 150. And if you do build it at 150, you need to make sure that you light it up so that ice doesn't form on the solid blocks along the top. There are a couple of ways you can do that. You can either light it up, or you can put a roof over the top of it, providing you don't invalidate the doors in the farm. But we'll go over those a little bit later. So find the Y level that you want to build it on, and then you want to build the spawning floors. So if you start off by building a square in the middle that's 3 by 3. This is going to be the hole eventually that the golems fall down. Now I've made it 3 by 3. I know golems will fall down a hole that is 2 by 2 wide, but I've made it 3 by 3 because so many golems are going to be spawning on these pads. If you get 2 golems coming at the same time into a 2 by 2 hole, they will just bang against each other and nothing will happen, which is why I make the hole 3 by 3. So that's your template for your hole down the middle. Now what you want to do is take out some solid blocks, and you need to block out 8 blocks. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you want to go to the next corner, block out another 8 blocks. And again, 8 blocks. Finally, 8 blocks. And now you want to fill all of this in with solid blocks. This is going to be your first spawning floor, the spawning floor on the bottom. First of 3. So now you should have something that looks like that. Now we need to put a perimeter around the outside of this using slabs, which prevents mobs from spawning on the outside of it. So you'll need a temporary block on the corner, and then you just want to put a perimeter around all of this platform using slabs, using bottom slabs. And that way the water that we put on here Won't flow over the sides, but as I mentioned, it will also prevent mobs from spawning without having to light it all up. So now you should have something that looks like that. So now we need to do that another 2 times above it. So grab yourself some solid blocks, and you need to put down 4 solid blocks. These are just temporary, just to give you to give you the gap measurement. So if you put them anywhere, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on the 4th block, that's where your next level is going to be. But you need to build the next level out of top slabs, because an Iron Golem needs it spawns into an area that is 3 tall, but it needs an air block above it. So we can't use a solid block there, because that way that would mean that the space it was trying to spawn into was only 3 blocks, and that's not big enough. So we need to make that a slab, and that fools the golem into thinking it's got 3 gaps and then an air block above it, which is why we have to use slabs. So now what you need to do is build another platform that's 19 by 19 on this level here. So now you should have something that looks like that. Now double check as you're going, double check, check, and then double check. You need to make sure that you've got 8 blocks between the hole and the edge of the spawning floor, just to make sure that the hole is in the right place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it's always best to just keep checking this as you go, because you don't want to build all of this only to find that you built it in the wrong place. And obviously we build it with a floor that is 8 blocks wide, because water flows 8 blocks. If we put a source block of water there, it's going to flow down and stop before it reaches, or before it flows over the edge. Now what you need to do is put another perimeter around the outside of this floor using bottom slabs. And this again will prevent the water from flowing over the edge of the spawning floor, but it will also stop mobs from spawning. So now we've got that. Now you need to do exactly the same again on the 3rd spawning floor. So grab your solid blocks, count at 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Put down your top slab, and then make a 19 by 19 platform using top slabs. Now you've done that, you've guessed it, you want to stick a surround of bottom slabs around the perimeter. So now you should have something that looks like that. Now in survival, and most of you are going to be building this in survival, you need to take into consideration that at the moment these floors, these pads, are completely spawnable for mobs. So as soon as it gets dark, I've got the daylight cycle turned off on the test world, so the sun's never going to move. But in a survival world, obviously the sun's going to go round, the place is going to get dark, and there are going to be mobs spawning on these floors. So it's probably a good call, as you're building this, to just go around and spam down a few torches on these spawning floors. It won't hurt anything, and it'll give you a bit of light, stop mobs from spawning. And you just need to do that on the 3 levels. Now take out some solid blocks and slabs again, and you need to put some corners in. So you need to start at the bottom, stick in some corners like that. And like that. And you need to do that on all 4 corners. So now you've got something that looks like that. Now take out your solid block again, and you need to get inside, go to each one of these corners and put down a block just there. And then take out your slabs again and put a slab on the bottom part of that block, just there, like that. That's going to hold, that's where the water in the corner is going to go. So that those blocks there stop it from going over the side. That block there stops you from putting it in the corner. If you were to put water source blocks along the bottom there and put one in the corner, you will completely flood this with solid source blocks of water. There'll be tears. So don't do it. So stick yourself down a solid block and then 2 slabs there and there. And you want to do that in all of the corners. So now you've got something that looks like that. Now you need to do exactly the same thing on the next 2 levels. When you get up to do this on the top floor, you're going to need to grab your half slabs, or grab your slabs, put 1 slab there and then 1 above it, and then do that. Okay, to make to stop the water from flowing over the sides, and then just stick yourself down a solid block there. So you get the same pattern, but you can't just put them off the side of the wall because there isn't a wall there. So do that, and then solid block. Slab, slab, slabs on the side, solid block. Last one, slab, 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 solid block. So now you've got something that looks like that. So now's a good time to stick in the pods where the villagers are going to stand. So these villagers' pods are going to be on the north and the south side of the build. And they're going to come off of the center spawning platform. So get yourself to either the north or the south. Find the middle block, which is that one there. And then count out 5 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you want to build a platform that is 3 blocks wide. So 1, 2, 3. And note as well that we're using bottom slabs. Okay, try putting a torch on there just to make sure, because if you don't, there's a chance that they'll be spawnable. So try putting a torch on these blocks. If you can't put a torch on it, then it's not going to be spawnable. Okay, so you count out 5 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you build a 1x3 platform. That's the platform your villagers are going to stand on. Okay, so now we need to put a perimeter around that to stop the villagers from falling out. And we do that by taking out a solid block, put a solid block there, 1 there, and then on top of that block, you need to put another bottom slab. Okay, so you've got 1 solid block, another solid block, then the slab. That block can then come out, and then just put a perimeter around the outside of the spawning floor of the pad, like that. And now once the villagers are inside, they can't get out. Now we can't just have a 1x1 pod because of cramming. If you stick more than 24 villagers in a 1x1 pod, they'll cram and they'll die, which is why we have to make it 3x1. And we need to do exactly the same thing on the other side. So you come around to here, find the middle, count out your 5 blocks, make your 1x3 platform, put down 2 solid blocks with a slab on the top of it. Again, double check that that's a bottom slab and you can't put a torch onto it. And then just put the perimeter around the outside to prevent the villagers from falling out. So now you should have something that looks like that. Okay, now we can start putting in the doors. So you want to get yourself to the east side now. And you want to get yourself down to the bottom spawning floor. You need to find the center of the bottom spawning floor. Grab yourself some slabs. And you want to count out 9 slabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And on the top of this 9th slab, you want to stick another slab, making it a solid block. And then you want to put another solid block on top of that. And then another solid block on top of that. And this is going to be the floor level of your first 30 villagers. So all of the doors that are going to make up the 30 villagers on the bottom level are going to be put on top of that block there. Okay, so then now we've done that, we need to grab our solid blocks again. And we need to put 14 blocks heading north. That's north. So we need to do 14 blocks towards the north. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay. And then we want to do 15 blocks heading south. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that means now we've got a platform of a solid platform that is 30 blocks long, and we've got the center of the village. Because 30 is an even number, the center block isn't going to be an equal distance away from one end and the other. So we've got 14 blocks towards the north, we've got 15 blocks towards the south. So just double check that you've got a line of blocks that is 30 blocks long, and you've got 14 blocks to the north, and you've got 15 blocks to the south. It's very important. If you don't do it, if you don't count these blocks correctly, the dead center of the village is not going to be directly over the center of the hole there. And that way the golems have a chance of spawning on the outside or on the corners in the slabs, which obviously if they spawn in the corners, they're not going to get flowed into the center. So sorry to labor the point, but the measurements are vital for this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 blocks to the north, 15 blocks to the south. And then you need to fill this platform out so it's 6 blocks deep. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you need to fill that in with solid blocks. Now we need to put some lighting on this floor. Now you can use glowstone, you can use sea lanterns, or you can use jack-o'-lanterns. Now in 1.13 you can place jack-o'-lanterns above thin air, which is fantastic, which means we can now use jack-o'-lanterns in this farm. So you need to put down a line of 30 light source blocks on the outside of the platform that you've just made. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 18, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Perfect. Also gives you an opportunity to count that you've made the platform the right size. So now you've got something that looks like that. Now take out your solid blocks again, and you need to put another 5 solid blocks on the face of the light source, on the face of your lantern. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, like that. And you need to extend these all the way down to the end. So now you should have a platform that looks like that. So now you've done that, we need to put the doors on to these platforms. Now this platform is going to take 330 wooden doors, and there's going to be 330 on the other side, then there's going to be 330 on the next platform above it, 330 over there, and then there's loads more doors that are going to be in the towers around the outside. So this is very door intensive, but you do need them. You can't do without it if you're going to build it. You're going to be building a massive iron farm. So get yourself to the north end of the platform that you've just made, just here. Get to the center. You don't want to put doors on the jack-o'-lanterns. You want to put the doors on the block here. So you want 6 doors this side, and then you want to go around here and put 5 doors on that side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then round to the outside of the platform, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then you want to do that along all of this platform. And it doesn't matter what order you put these down in, because the village isn't going to start being generated until we start putting the villages in. So unlike some of the multi-village iron farms where you have to put the doors in a specific order, you don't have to do that here. So you can just stand on the platform and just run down, spamming all of your doors. But you do need to make sure that you're placing them when you're facing east and west. There's no point placing them down facing north to south and then opening them, because it looks exactly the same, but the doors are facing that way. And if you've got them facing the wrong way, it won't work. It'll break your farm. So make sure that when you place the doors down, you are facing either east or west. And then just cover the entire floor with wooden doors. Doesn't matter if you've placed them east and west and then you open one, it doesn't matter because they're still orientated the right way. It only becomes a problem when you put them down facing north or south and then opening them, because as you can see, it looks exactly the same, but that door, the middle door, is facing that way. These two doors are facing that way, so that door is invalid as far as the farm is concerned. And again, sorry to bang on about this, but it's absolutely vital that you put these doors down in the right place. So although I've just apologised, I don't make any apologies. If that makes any sense. So now just spam down all of your doors on all of the blocks that aren't pumpkins. So now we need to put on another level for the doors to stand on. So you want to get over to the inside of your farm, the north sort of inside corner of your farm. And you need to put another solid block above that door there, like that. And then you need to count in 5 blocks. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you need to put down 2 slime blocks, like that. And then do another 5 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so you've got 5 solid blocks. You've got 2 slime blocks. The slime blocks are really important because they let light through, but they still allow you to put a door on them. If we were to use glass there, let me just grab a piece of glass, which would also obviously allow light to go through. In order to validate the bottom doors, we need light to go through to them. But we can't put a door on glass, which is why we have to use slime. So now we need to run this all the way down to the end of the farm, to the end of the doors, making a second platform. So now you should have something that looks like this. Now we need to put another 330 doors, exactly the same as we've done at the bottom. We need to put them on this level here. So start at the middle, and we need to put them on the slime block. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we need to run these all the way down. And then you want to come around to the opposite end, and you don't want to put them on the slime block this time. Okay, so they're on that slime block, but you don't want to put them on this slime block. They want to start on that solid block there. So you've got that gap between the doors. And then you want to put the 5 doors on the outside of the farm, and they want to be run all the way down to the other end. So now you should have something that looks like this. Now, again, double check. Check, check, and double check. You've got 6 doors on the inside. Then you've got your lights, and then you've got 5 doors on the outside. Okay? And then you've got, on the next level up, 6 doors, with one of them being on the slime. Then you've got a block of slime in the middle with nothing on it. And then you've got 5 doors on the outside. Now's a good time as well to put some lighting around the outside of the farm. Now, if you press F3 and go and stand on one of these blocks here, at the top left, it should say light. Now, the light value to the sky is 15, obviously, because we've got no roof on this. But the block light value is only 6, which means this block, even though it's got a door on it, these blocks all the way down here can have mobs spawning on them. And if you get a zombie spawn on one of these blocks here, he'll try and break down the door to get to the villagers. He'll be able to detect the villagers. They'll be within his range, and he'll start breaking doors. And if he starts breaking these doors, obviously it's going to break your farm. So you need these blocks on the outside here to have a light level of 8 or above. The ones in the middle are going to be lit up by the glowstone or the sea lanterns or whatever it is you've got at the bottom. You can see the light level of this block is 10 because it's been lit up by the block below, and it will also be lit up by some lighting from above later on. But the outside blocks won't, especially when you have the roof over the top of these doors. So you need to run a line of glowstone, sea lanterns or jack-o'-lanterns. Let me get rid of the F3 all the way down on this level of the farm, like that. And that way, when you stand on these blocks here, press F3, you'll see the block light level is now 13. So obviously mobs cannot spawn when the light level is 13. So you want to run light sources down both sides of the doors on this level here. So now you should have something that looks like that. Now we need to put a roof over the top of these doors. So get yourself to the north west corner again, and you'll need to crouch, and you need to put solid block above that door, and you need to put 5 blocks to form the top roof. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. Now notice you don't want to be putting a block above the slime. Okay, so at the moment that door doesn't have a block above it. So you want 5 blocks like that above those doors. You need to run that all the way down to the other end of the doors. And then you want to leave a 2-block gap like that, and then you want to stick down another 5 solid blocks. Okay, so it should come to the end of the doors. So you've got 5 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've got a 2-block gap directly above your slime, and then you've got another 5 solid blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they need to be run all the way down to the end of the doors. So now you should have something that looks a little bit like that. Now you need to extend this roof. In order to validate a door needs an odd number or a different number of blocks on one side than it's got on the other. So in order to do that, we want these blocks here in the middle to be the odd block. Okay, so in order to do that, we need to extend the roof out over the back or the outside of the doors by 5 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so at the moment, that door has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks above it on the outside, but not counting the block that it stood on. It's only got 4 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the inside. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the outside, but only 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks on the inside. You never count the block that the door is stood on. Okay, so that door is, well, when you get a villager within 12 blocks of it, that door will be valid. And it's the same with this door here. This door will have 5 blocks on the outside. It only counts out 5 blocks, so it doesn't matter how far along that goes, it will only ever count 5 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks on the outside, but only 3 blocks on the inside. So again, that door there is valid. And I'm labouring this point because it's important that you know why the doors are validated. Because if you mess with the roof, if you put blocks in the wrong place, if you cover this gap with anything other than the pistons that we're going to put in later, it's going to invalidate the doors and it's going to break your farm. Okay, this door here, this door will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks on the outside, but it will only have, obviously there's nothing there, it will only have 1, 2, 3 blocks on the inside. Okay, don't count the block that the door is on. Those 2 blocks there, it's got nothing above it, so it's only got 3 blocks. Again, that door becomes valid, which is why we need to extend the roof out by 5 blocks. So apologies for labouring the point, but it is absolutely imperative that you understand this. And now these 5 blocks there, the extension, the overhang, needs to be run down all the way to the end of the doors. So now you should have something that looks like that. And now with the same as the inside of the farm, these blocks are completely spawnable. You are going to have mobs spawning on these when it gets dark. So for the time being, just go down and spam down some torches. You don't want to be knocked off here by skeletons or by zombies, or God forbid you get a creeper up here that starts blowing things up. So just spam down some torches. Some of these are going to be in the way. We're going to have to move them later. And eventually we'll slab out the top so that mobs can't spawn on here anyway. But for the time being, you're going to need to put some lighting. So now you should have something that looks like that. And we need to do the same on the inside. So grab yourself your solid blocks, count 5 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you need to run that all the way down to the end. So now you should have something that looks like that. So now we need to mirror that over the other side. So you need to take out your slabs, find the center, and then count out 9 slabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Turn that into a solid block. Then you put another solid block and then your third solid block, and that is the door level. That's the level where your doors are going to be on. Now we need to put a line of solid blocks to the left of the center column. We need to put 14 blocks to the left of it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And then we need to run 15 blocks to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And that's exactly the same as it is on this side. You remember when we did the first platform, we found the center of the farm. We blocked out 9 slabs. We blocked up 3 blocks. And then we counted 14 blocks on the left here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 blocks. And we did 15 blocks on the right to give us a 30 block platform. We need to do exactly the same over this side. We need to do 14 blocks on the left. We need to do 15 blocks on the right. Now that does mean that the farm isn't exactly symmetrical. You'll see that the farms don't line up, the doors don't line up, and that's intentional. So don't worry about that. That's just to get the center of the farm above the hole. If we were to move the doors so they lined up, it would move the center of the farm over. Depending on which way we shifted it, it would move the center of the farm over, and there's a chance that the golems would get stuck on the outside of the farm. So don't be worried when you're building this if you look across and you notice that they're not directly in line. That is completely intentional. So now what we need to do, now we've done that, is make the platform 6 blocks deep. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we need to run these blocks all the way down to fill out that part of the platform. Then we need to take out our light source blocks again, the glowstone or the sea lanterns or jack-o'-lanterns, and we need to run a line of illuminated blocks all the way down on the outside of that platform. Like that. And take out your solid blocks, count out another 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Run these all the way down to the end. So now you've got something that looks like that. Now take out your 330 doors again, and we need to span down our doors. So remember, put them on all of the blocks that aren't illuminated. So you'll want 6 on the inside, 5 on the outside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Remember, facing east or west. Do not put them like that and then open them, because they look exactly the same, but they just will not work. Okay, so make sure you are facing east and west. Like that, and then you just need to run all of these doors all the way down the end of the platform. So now we have that. So now it's time to put the roof over the top of these doors. So grab your solid block, crouch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, then you want 2 slime blocks, and then you want another 5 solid blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so it's identical, it's mirrored over this side, but it's identical. Okay, so now you need to run all of these blocks down to the end. So now we've got that, we just need to put doors on top of these blocks directly above the doors underneath. Exactly the same as on the other side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the outside. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the inside. And you need to do that all the way down. So now we've just got to put the roof on top of this bad boy. So get to the front, get to the inside. 5 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a 2 block gap. 1, 2, and then 5 solid blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Should get you to the end. And then you need to run these 2 platforms right the way down to the end. Now, as we did on the other side, we need to extend out the roofs on the front, on the inside and the outside by 5 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and again fill all of these all the way down to the end of the doors. And then don't forget to put the light sources down in between the 2 platforms of doors, in between the 2 doors, otherwise zombies are going to spawn in there and they're going to start busting your doors up. As I said, these don't have to be jack-o'-lanterns. They can be glowstone or they can be sea lanterns. Or there's no reason, and I don't know why you'd want to do this, but there's no reason why you can't put a solid block there and then run a line of torches down it, or run yourself down some end rods if you wanted to. It's just to light up these blocks to stop mobs from spawning on them. How you do it is entirely up to you. If you wanted to, you don't even have to put those blocks there. You can put your end rods. You can put your end rods or your torches there. As I said, doesn't matter how you do it, but you do need to do it. You do need to light it up in some way. So now you should have something that looks like that. Now, to just make it easier to go from one side to the other, we're going to be putting quite a lot of redstone pistons down here and quite a lot of redstone on here. So just to make it easy for you to get from one side to the other, you just want to fill this in here with bottom slabs. So if you put bottom slabs all the way from one side to the other, as I said, this isn't going to match up exactly. Because of how we put the platforms in. But if we do that and then do the same on this side, get the bottom slab. Like that. And then just fill in this gap around the outside. It's going to mean that you can walk from one side to the other without worrying about falling to your death. And also with it being bottom slabs, you won't have to worry about mobs spawning on them. So now you should have something that looks like that. And again, now's a good time to just pop into the middle if you haven't already done it, and just to pop down some torches. So now you've got something that looks like that. So I think we'll call it a day for this first video. Thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed it, please don't forget to leave it a like, and if you've really loved it, don't forget to subscribe for future videos. This is Frilioth, and I'm out of here.